Good morning, everyone. Jim Laird here, live from just outside Fort Lauderdale. Before we call it no man's land, where you go across from Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, across to Naples. There's literally nothing. So just stop by to Starbucks here. We'll see how this connection works. Looks like so far so good. Not that Starbucks needs any advertising. They've got plenty of people coming in here. Man, I wish I would have started something like this back in the day. Who would have thought, people would pay, my coffee's cheap, but I just drink straight black essentially. But most people coming in here are spending like $7, $8, $9 for a drink. So, hey, all the power to them. All for free market. So how are you doing this morning? I hope you're doing well, getting ready for Thanksgiving. As always, get on our email list. We're sending out a replay this week. There's no live masterclass or lesson this week. We want to make that clear that if you get on the email list, you essentially get a course every week. We're adding to our Fundamentals of Wellness masterclass. We do that every week. So it's not like a sales webinar. Get on there. You'll get that. You'll get an email Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you go to the website and you go to the at the top of the page, if you put in the pop-up, it's going to give you a sequence for the Fundamentals of Wellness, like a sales sequence, just to be totally transparent. That's 5 or 6 emails. If you don't want that, they're good emails. It goes through our basic fundamentals. So basically, if you don't want that sales sequence, just go to the website, put your email in there. You'll get added to the email list. You won't receive a whole sales thing. A lot of people don't want their email list blown up. So that being said, 5 easy tips not to gain weight during the holidays. I think the most important thing is if you're in a good place and you've been doing the fundamentals things, if you've been walking outside all day, eating a protein every meal, getting the lights off at night, getting outside. If your body's healthy, metabolically flexible, and you throw in a big whack of food from time to time, that actually, the bodybuilders call that like a refeed. And that can actually be highly positive. It can actually, it's going to increase insulin production, which is highly anabolic. It can help basically kind of reset your system, speed you up a little bit, especially if you've been on the lower calorie side for a while. But the problem is most people, they do that once and then they keep going. They if you're one of those people that has a few things, and you go off the rails, then you got to be a little more careful. But there's a few things you can do. The one is make sure you don't go to these gatherings like absolutely starving, and then make sure that you're slowing down, you're chewing your food up, you're not just hammering it down. That's super important. And being mindful of that, and then not eating until you're like completely stuffed, right? Pushing yourself away. So that's very helpful. Protein, making sure you're getting plenty of protein. That's going to keep you from eating a lot of the refined, processed stuff. Like, enjoy yourself, have a piece of pumpkin pie. I certainly do. I can have something like that every once in a while and not go completely off the rails. A lot of people can't. There's a lot of people, they have pumpkin pie or ice cream and they just completely go off the rails. The other thing you can do is walk 10 minutes after every meal. That literally is going to help manage your blood sugar. It has the same basically effect as metformin as far as managing blood sugar, managing inflammation. So that's super, super duper helpful. And then making sure you go right back after the day after Thanksgiving is a great day. You're not going in to burn calories, but the next day is a great day to go in and do a really solid strength workout, because you're going to be full of glycogen. You're going to be full of the ability to produce force. So the day after Thanksgiving would be a great time to lift and do something fairly intense, right? And ideally, a lot of people don't have access to gyms on Thanksgiving, but ideally, it would be best to lift before your Thanksgiving blowout. That would be fantastic. So if you got a gym at home, lifting before you do your big celebration would be good. And then of course moderation with alcohol and all that good stuff. But the basic fundamentals are going to help protect you and make you more resilient, so you can handle a big influx of calories from time to time. It's just that most people, once they start, they can't stop. So happy Thanksgiving, James says. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. So, you know, that's the gist of it. It's pretty simple, but knowing yourself, there are people out there that literally, if they have one or two bad meals, will completely go off the rails. And if that's you, you've got to be very, very careful, right? But you want to have a good relationship with food. You want to have things you enjoy from time to time. It's all trade-offs, right? So if you know that certain foods don't do well with you, you want to pick things that, you do better with. So it's a pretty simple thing. But a lot of it just has to be with being mindful and being present. So that's basically the gist of it. So the healthier you are, the better choices you're going to make, the more aware you're going to be, and then strategically deciding when you want to throw in some shenanigans from time to time. And if you're in a really bad place, like if you're really struggling with certain things, it might be one of those things where you just say, I'm going to pass on this, but that's completely up to you. So, and a lot of people will see people that will stress out so much about having everything perfect that actually causes a bigger stress than the actual food itself. So it's a lot of nuance, right? And a lot of it is self-experimentation and seeing, for example, if I know that haven't gotten a lot of sleep, if I'm not in a good place, I just will avoid things like straight up gluten, like pizza type stuff. I know that if I'm in a bad place, I just don't handle that stuff as well. Now, if I'm getting outside, if I'm taking care of myself, that would be, that's the time when I can have an indulgence like that and handle it just fine. If I'm not in a good place, if I haven't been taking care of myself, I'm sleep deprived, if I haven't been doing my self-care, I know that if I eat a pizza, I'm going to pay for it. I'm not going to feel good. I'm going to feel bloated. If I'm in a good place, I'm not. So a lot of this is trade-offs and deciding what you can get away with. And the healthier you are and the better you do your basics and fundamentals the rest of the time, the more kind of shenanigans you can get away with. So we're going to keep it super short today. I'll be on here tomorrow for another super short one as well. Unless you have any quick questions, I got a lot of driving to do today, so I'm going to get back on the road. I thought I'd stop in here. Just be aware that be aware of where you are in your journey, how resilient you are at the moment. Enjoy your time with your family. Enjoy the time. Enjoy the food. If you do decide to eat whatever, that you really like, pumpkin pie, ice cream, whatever it is, put it behind you. Don't beat yourself up over it. But the big things is make sure whatever you do, walk after you eat. Just go for a 10-minute walk. Try and, just like training, you want to leave a quarter in the tank. When you eat, don't eat to the point where you're so uncomfortable that you're stuffed. Just chew your food, slow down, and step away from the table. And everything will be much easier to manage, and make sure that protein really fills you up and shuts that appetite out, as opposed to if you're eating, all potatoes and all that sort of deal. So, fill up on that protein. That's going to help regulate your appetite, and it's going to help keep you from just eating more and more and more and more. And obviously, easy on the alcohol. The alcohol is a really good way to derail things really quickly. Thank you, Joe. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well. So, well, everyone, have yourself a great day. I'll be on here real quick tomorrow morning, but have a great Thanksgiving if I miss you, and get on our email list. Have a wonderful day. Make sure you get outside.